Hi everyone, welcome to the 30th day of Tips for Successful Living. Welcome to the 30th day of Tips for Successful Living. I did not really understand how much people like to be invited to an event that they were part of organizing. Because later I understand that as humans, we like invitation, even though we are part of the program that has been planned. It's just give people a sense of belonging if you invite them formally. Looking at in a different angle, looking at it in a different angle, if you are engaging in something and you assume that people are always going to come on board and help you, that's not true all the time. We have a tendency to think that people know what we are going through, and without asking them to help us, to support us, they should know what to do by just observing us and things like that. And people don't really react positively that way. Most people want you to invite them into what you're doing, to go along the journey with you. Then they'll feel that they have to be part of what you're doing because you're formally inviting them. If you don't invite, people just stay from afar and look at you and just observe and pretend as if they don't understand what you're doing. Have you ever organized an event in the past? Have you ever organized an event in the past with your friend, with your best friend, to be specific? And during the event, your best friend still asks you to give them a particular invitation for the event that you're organizing. And you wonder, why do you need an invitation again if you're part of the organizing team? If you are the one spearheading the organizing team, you're part of the team, why do you still need an invitation like everyone else? That's because as humans, we just tend to appreciate such formal invitation, even though we know that we don't really need it to do what we have to do, but we still like to be invited. That's why the tip for today is to invite people to go along with you in your journey to success. Don't assume people see you. Don't assume people know what to do. Don't assume they can help. Don't assume that they don't want to help until you ask them. Then that's when you know whether they can help or not. And in most cases, people usually can help in certain ways. And it's this kind of help is not always about money. We like to think about money every time. There's so many things that you can do to support someone without money, without spending. And this entails also thinking about the fact that the culture that we find ourselves now is the culture of fake it till you make it. It's the culture we call fake it till you make it. If somebody is really grounded on the culture of I just want to fake it, make people think I'm there and doing well until something happens miraculously and it's really true that I'm making it, then of course people will start to stay away from you, just watch you from afar and hope that what you're faking can become a real thing at some point, just looking at you from afar. Versus letting people know that, well, this is where I am, I'm not there yet, this is what I'm doing, you can come and join, go along this journey with me, support if you can. It's not always about money, there's always a way to support someone if you want to. And that kind of situation entails, for example, being real, being in the moment, not thinking about the strange possibilities that you have that is probably not true or it's something that is possible in the future, but being in a moment at a particular time and letting people know that this is my situation, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what you can do. And also it entails asking questions, asking the person question. They're also going to want to ask you a question about what you're doing. That kind of engagement you have going on when you're doing something is very important. Then also you want to be genuine and authentic as much as possible. Be real. You want to be real and just not make things fake. Don't encourage anything fake. Don't present a situation the way it's not. And that entails showing some imperfections, some mistakes, some errors, and things like that that you have going on. Most people will probably judge, and that's why we try to hide such errors and mistakes, imperfections, because you want people to think everything is perfect. Nothing is perfect anywhere. It's all lies. Nothing is perfect anywhere. So one of the ways to actually let people know where you are is to show that imperfections, even while you've prepared your hard work, you're hardworking, you're putting a lot of effort that you're supposed to do, but then things are not always going to fall in the right places. Something is going to happen that is not expected, that is not really good, that is something that is below what is expected of you. And sometimes people like to see that. That's humans for us. We like to say, oh, this person don't have it all together after all. They just present their life like that. Nobody has it all together. That's the truth of life. And so when such imperfection, when you have such imperfection, uh, the best thing is to just acknowledge it and use that opportunity to let people know that you're not perfect, take responsibility, then move on. Try to keep giving your message and letting people know the kind of support that you need, what you're trying to do, and things like that. And also use the errors and imperfections to drive your message in, such that people know that, okay, this is what happened. Although it was a strange and a weird situation, nobody really expected, it's not good, but then you still try to connect it to the message, to the support that you're asking, so that they know that this is real. And in comedy, that's what they call callback, callback in comedy. And this is a good point to introduce this book that I'm going to be talking about in my next podcast by Don Colliver. Some of the things that I actually said is also from the book by Don Colliver. It's a book that is going to be talking about engaging people, engaging audience with humor. That's one of the ways you can engage people. So the book is going to be what you're going to be talking about on podcast. Next is going to be episode 15 of Solution Illuminator Series podcast. You can join us to be part of the discussion, just developing skills on how you can actually connect with people, be real. Human beings are real. Your life is not supposed to be perfect. Everybody's not going to go on a journey with you. Some people are going to go, some people are going to neglect you, ignore you, but request help from you when it's possible, but they'll ignore you when you need them. That's part of human beings for you. And also just know that when you're also doing that, you're also trying to support if anybody's also really need a little bit of support along the way. And like we're saying, this is not always about money, cash or spending. It's more than that. There are little things you can do to support people. And most rich people that have rich mentality know this. Right? It's not always about money. There are little ways you can support people. And it's okay to also request support by inviting people to go along with you, such that you're not just involved in a fake it till you make it mentality that we have going on. You're still on a journey. Invite people to go on a journey with you. Don't assume that they know how to support you. because they don't know. Then people feel really important to do something because it's their time, it's their energy, it's their resources, and sometimes it's their money that they're spending. So invite people to go on a journey with you. Do not assume that people know what to do to support you. Thank you for listening on Solution Eliminators Tips for Successful Living today. And I said that invite people to go on a journey with you. It's very important. You not to go through life by yourself. And the next time we're going to be talking is going to be during the podcast, episode 15, talking about engaging humor with Don Colliver. If you have the time, please join. And this is the last day of the Tips for Successful Living. If you have learned something from the session, please share what you've learned, comment, allow somebody to learn from what we've discussed. And the next time I'll see you is going to be on the 16th of September, talking about the Solution Eliminator series on engaging humor with my guest, Dan Colliver. And we're going to be talking about this book I call Wink. Thank you for joining Tips for Successful Living today. It's been a nice time going on this 30 days journey with everyone. If you've been listening, watching, give us a feedback. Let me know how you learned anything, if you learned anything, if you disagree with anything I've said for the last 30 days, let me know. And I'm also looking forward to people to share their own tip for success. Maybe I missed something that you felt was more important than anything I said. It could be it. There are other things that could be done. There are other ways of thinking that could add to this kind of thing. But I've tried to share the knowledge that I have, and I hope it was helpful. If it's helpful, let me know how it's helpful so that that can also encourage other people to do something like this. Thank you, and I will see you during the session with Solution Eliminators podcast on the 16th of September. Bye.